What's up, everybody? I'm coming to you as Michelle Ellison on today. I know the last time I was here, we talked about Leon Bell's 3 L's, but I decided to shorten that and we're going to name it No Regrets, because the whole purpose of this podcast is to think about the life, the lessons, and the legacy of my dad, the late, great Leon Bell Sr. And so today I'm super excited because I have none other than the one herself, my only daughter, Asha Bell, Kid Suave in the house.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing well. And so, as I stated, the whole purpose of this podcast is to talk about, what Daddy, G Daddy to you, meant to us. And this is a way that God showed me that we could carry on his legacy, not just as his family, but anyone who wants to be a part of this podcast. Just reach out to me, put it in the comments, let me know that you want to be a part, and we'll get you on. We're going to be doing this once a month for right now. And again, the whole purpose is just to live out what the words of comfort that Bishop Johnson gave us at his time during the service. He told us to remember the life, hold on to the lessons, and build on the legacy. So when we think about that, what's something in Daddy's life that you can remember, whether it's funny or serious or just whatever it meant to you?
Something as in
his life, like something that you've taken from the life that he lived to make you better.
I'm gonna say being independent and hardworking. That's something that a lot of people don't realize. G-Daddy had like 2 to 3 jobs at one time,
right?
Because he was taking care of. Let's see, it was 6 of y'all.
Yep.
And then, as far as I can remember, it was always one of us, meaning me and my cousins. Some of us living with you guys.
Yep.
So at one time, 13 people once you really think about it, including his wife.
Yep.
So being that provider, but being independent in that's something that, I take very, very seriously. He always taught me, hey, when you get your money or when you're taking care of yourself,
yes,
you have to understand that there's some things that's more important in life. So rent is more important than getting a bottle of liquor sometimes. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Rent is more important than going on a trip, So just making sure that I remain independent, but getting some of that financial stability from him as best as I could.
Yes.
That's very important to me. That's something that he always taught me to be able to take care of myself by myself without anybody's help. So
yeah, I would say for us, the 6 that were growing up, we knew that he always worked different jobs.
Yeah.
Of course, as a musician, he played for several churches.
Yeah.
So he was in church all day.
Right.
That's something that we just grew up that way. We didn't know any other way. And so I will say when it comes to that whole financial piece, sometimes we have to learn things on our own. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I can appreciate is that you all, meaning our children, got a part of that we didn't get.
Yeah.
Because he had to work all the time with the 6 and the wife. And I tell people all the time, we were blessed.
Yeah.
Now that we have the chance to look back on life and, we're adults, we were really blessed because mama didn't have to work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Unless daddy had, hey, I got to get this taken care of. I need you to go to work for 3 months.
Right.
And then she would come back to the house. So that we didn't realize at the time that was a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
remember one time G-Mama was telling me that he would send her out to California.
Yes.
And he would be at home taking care of everything. And that's very rare that you hear a man, being able to, take care of 6 kids by himself. His wife is gone, but he would send her out there for months at a time just to be with her family.
Yeah.
That is a blessing because not all husbands are able to do that for their wives, and not all wives get the privilege of being able to have that freedom. So it's little bitty things that he did that now that we're older, we can say, oh, well, you know what? That is a blessing. Or, hey, you know what? He did show a different way of loving us. Like, he may not have said it all the time, but he showed it in so many different ways.
Exactly.
And how he was a provider was that one way that if you didn't understand anything else about my granddaddy, the way he showed care and kindness.
Yes.
Is how he gave himself to people.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's it's crazy to like sit there and think about it. Cause like you said, he's churches, people on the street.
Yep.
Everybody know who Leon Bell is. Everybody know Mr. Bell being a giving person, whether it's giving words, giving money, giving time, giving lessons, giving like, you know, a piano away, whatever the case may be. So it's just crazy to think about like him being that type of person in this light, because you didn't realize that back then. Well, I didn't. At all. I didn't realize that back then. So
and we didn't either, because we looking at him sideways like, dude,
what you doing? You giving all the money away. What are you doing?
Exactly. You know, and like I even said on the first podcast, there were some people we didn't even like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was just like, I'm going to give it to him anyway. Yeah. You don't worry about how people feel about you, or you don't worry about that. So so that in itself is a good part. And those were some good times when Daddy would send Mama away. Like he combed our hair, he cooked breakfast. Like he did everything. He had some help from friends, but for the most part,
he did it all.
He did it all. So that, you know, in hindsight, we were rich and didn't realize.
It. Yeah. Yeah, back then. Yeah, you know. And even for me, you know, G Daddy, he stayed. My day started with G Daddy and it ended with G Daddy. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He got me up in the morning. Yeah. If you were already at work, G Mama already going to NAC, whatever the case may be. My granddaddy is cooking for me and we talking. You know, hey, what you got going today? Now, what you got going today? I'm trying to leave after. Can I leave with you today at school? You know, I don't want to stay the whole time. You know, whatever the case may be. But it's crazy to sit here and think back on those times, like, yo, bro was just giving me all he could, like for me. So it's a blessing. I always tell people, like, I am eternally grateful that I had the relationship with my grandfather that I had. Yeah. Because for the longest, people don't know, like, before I started calling him G Daddy, he was my daddy. I didn't know him as anything else, because everybody in the house called him Daddy, so that's what I called him. Yep. So it's just crazy to me, like, to think, like, man, he's gone now, but it's just certain things that happen during my day or randomly. I'm like, if G Daddy's here, man, we would have been laughing about that. If G Daddy was here, man, he would have cussed me out. G Daddy, it's just different things like that. But it's weird. Yeah. But it's a blessing to know and think about what he did, how he moved, how he treated people. So,
and in that, let's talk about a lesson that he gave you. Like, what would be, you know, we all got our own little lessons. Mm-hmm. You know, those talks and lectures. You're like, oh, just whoop me. Right.
All right. It's a story that you hate. You absolutely hate the situation that happened. You know, got a little trouble. You know, had to come pick me up from juvenile. Yeah. But I will never forget, I was more scared riding in the car, pulling up to that hill to see my grandfather. I was just like, I know my mama mad. My grandmama gonna be like, you know. But I was scared to see G Daddy. I was very nervous. I'm like, I don't know if he's going to hit me. I don't know if he's going to cuss me out, because I wasn't privy to, like, being physically, you know.
You didn't get whoopings.
I didn't get whoopings. Yeah. I'm not.
She didn't. She may have had 2 or 3 whoopings out of her
And even
life.
then, like, but I wasn't accustomed to that. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to get myself ready for what is to come from him. And the first thing he said to me, he said, you know, I'm disappointed. And I'm like, that hurts. Okay. All right. What else you got? And he was like, but, you know, everybody has to learn life differently. Yeah. And the one thing, and it's a quote that's on all my social media. I put it on all my social media. It says, make better mistakes tomorrow. Yeah. That's a lesson that I've took with me from day one when he said it. You know, hey, it may not have looked the way you wanted it to look. Hey, it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Right. What did you learn? Take what you learned and do better with it tomorrow. Yeah. That's something that I will never let go. When he said that to me, I'm like, all right. So what you're saying is I ain't always going to get it right. No, you're not. Right. I'm not going to always make the best decisions. No, you're not. But when you're doing things and you're growing up, you're learning new things. Yeah. Take what you've learned to make better decisions.
Exactly.
And that's something I'm never going to forget. That's something that I always carry with me when it comes to my grandfather. That's the first thing I think about.
Yeah.
Of what did he teach you? He taught me to make better mistakes tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm never going to forget it.
And now that you say that, even looking at the time when it's so funny because we've had the same experience.
Yeah.
When I found out I was pregnant with you, I already had a bag packed at the door because I just knew you got to think we was a prominent family in the church, in the community, and then here I am, the oldest, not married,
heathen,
and I'm. You so
fornicating.
You right, and there's a whole story behind that.
Right.
But I had called Tina and Not.
Yeah.
And I called Robin and Raymond. And I was like, I don't know which one of y'all I can stay with, but I just know my dad is getting ready to put me out. So whoever I call first, that's who I need to come get me. My bag is already packed. And I never forget, he was working third shift. I went in, I said, Daddy, I hate to wake you up. I got something to tell you. And he was like, what is it? And I said, Daddy, I'm pregnant. And he said, oh, okay.
That dry?
And I said, I shook him. I said, Daddy, did you hear what I said? I said I'm pregnant. He said, Michelle, what you want me to do?
I can see that.
He said, are you going to marry him? I said, no, sir. He's an abuser. And he was like, well, I'm glad you got sense enough to realize that and not ruin your life. He was like, but the only thing I can tell you is that you're going to have to forgive yourself, ask God to forgive you, you forgive yourself, and we'll do our best to raise this child.
Yeah.
He was like, you're not going to do it by yourself, but you are going to take responsibility.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's all? That's all you got for me? He said, what else do you want me to say, Michelle? And I said, so I'm good? Like, you know, I'm okay.
Go back to my room, cuz.
I can go back to my room. He was like, yeah, I'm finna go back to sleep because you know I got to go to work.
Right.
And I was like, yes, sir, I do. And I walked out the room and I was stunned because it was the opposite. Like you said, it was the opposite.
Total opposite.
And then he told me the very next day, he said, listen, people are going to talk about you no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, the one thing you can always do in life is if they talk about you and it's right, fix it.
Yeah.
If they talk about you and it has nothing to do with you, it's wrong information, don't worry about it. Because people are going to talk. Mm-hmm. So when you think about, there are so many lessons that we probably are parallel because like Asha said, he was more like a dad to her.
Yeah.
Later in life, he became a granddad.
Yeah.
So he played dual roles, really. But when you think about his life and his lessons, and I know you said that's a quote that you put on all of your social media, which is one way of carrying out his legacy. What's another way that you feel like in now, or that maybe God have shown you a way that you can carry out the legacy?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's something that I'm praying on now because I'm not sure. You know, that's not something. At first, when everything first happened, I was like, okay. Now what? You know?
Yeah.
Now what? And I think we all have our own little way of carrying out his legacy, and it's okay. And I told my cousins that right now, for me, like especially because it'll be a year. You know, it's been a year. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's been a year, and for me, it's been more so being okay with the fact that he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the legacy because I know it's going to be there. We have music all up and down the bloodline.
Right.
We have faith all up and down the bloodline. We have independency. That's there. That's the foundation of what we know. I don't know exactly what it is I'm supposed to do with his legacy just yet.
Got you.
I don't know.
That's fair.
And I'm working on it, you know, but I'm just taking it one day at a time. Yeah. When it's revealed, it'll be revealed, whatever that may be for me.
Yeah.
But right now, it's for me, it's more of a, hey, let's be okay. Because I know if he was here, how I should move anyway. So let's just operate in that.
Yeah.
So That's cool. What I'm working on, you know.
And that's fair. I mean, you know, that's all we can do really for one another.
Yeah.
It's just heal and be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a good way of carrying out the legacy, because a lot of times we didn't see Daddy cry.
No.
We never really saw him emotional.
Right.
But because he's human, we know he had to do those things when he lost a loved one, or, you know, a lot of people don't realize when he stopped playing in the churches, that's when his life kind of took a toll. His health kind of went, you know, the other way, because in a sense he was broken.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, we were challenging him, Daddy, just get on the piano and just play or whatever, he never got back on the piano, but he always sung with us.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so that right there is one of those things where you have to kind of push past, like you said, and be okay with where we are today.
Yeah, for sure.
And just continue. So as we wrap this up, you know, again, hopefully Asha will stay with you, you know. And like I said, we'll be bringing others in that's, you know, of the family, that's of the community, whoever wants to come be a part. By all means, put it in the comments and we'll get you in. But listen, we're trying our best as his family here up on earth. We're trying our best to live with no regrets.
Yeah.
We're not going to die with any regrets, and we're going to continue to take his lessons and his legacy and build thereupon. We thank you for being a part of this podcast. Listen, like and share with everybody, because somebody needs to, you know, get a nugget or two to continue throughout life, because life can be hard. But one thing about it is that when you got God on your side and you understand who he is, listen, you can continue to be and live life with no regrets. This is your girl, Pastor Michelle Ellison, and
the kid, Asha Bell the kid.
We're signing out, y'all. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you.